shaking your dang on head at yourself.
I ain't did.
You always doing. You was doing 3 days ago in Houston. What is you blowing up and saying all these inaccuracies for to these people? You always doing that. You always doing. No, it ain't accurate. No, it's not actually accurate. You said to me that when we were married, I was going to hotels cheating on you. That's a goddamn lie.
I didn't say you wanted.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say that you was.
Yes, you did.
There's
and
a
you said it multiple times.
There's a possibility, because like me.
Well, we know you were cheating.
It's okay. Okay. I'm sorry for that.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Not sorry.
I knew they was going to destroy what we had. It wouldn't have been like it is.
It's easy to forget that Melody Shari is a survivor when you see her today, walking in peace, sharing her victories, glowing as though she's just returned from a sanctuary of healing. But not long ago, her name was tangled in court filings, custody battles, tabloid headlines, and relentless rumors of betrayal. What she endured wasn't just a breakup. It was the unraveling of everything she had built: her marriage, her family, her trust, even her public image. For years, Martell Holt was her partner, her co-star, the other half of the power couple everyone admired. But beneath the glossy exterior lived a truth too many chose to ignore. Martell wasn't just neglecting his marriage, he was actively dismantling it. While presenting himself as the picture of family manhood, he was weaving a double life built on lies, infidelity, and secrecy. When the truth finally surfaced, Martell moved quickly to reshape the narrative, painting himself as though he'd stumbled into tragedy rather than orchestrated it. He sat in interviews, solemn-faced, recalling how his mother cried upon hearing of the divorce, as if the heartbreak came from the paperwork, not from the years of deception that preceded it. And sitting beside him was Miss Marlene, his mother, nodding in sympathy, playing the role of loyal witness. But viewers knew better. They saw what the family pretended not to say out loud. The house hadn't been destroyed by fate. It had been chipped away, day by day, by Martell's choices, by his lies, by his affair, and by a child born outside his vows. The silence, though, wasn't just Martell's. Miss Marlene knew. She knew about Ariane Curry, the other woman. She knew her son was tearing apart his family. And instead of protecting Melody, the woman who once regarded her as a second mother, she smiled, kept quiet, and chose loyalty to her son over honesty, morality, and decency. That betrayal cut deeper than the affair itself. For Melody, the loss wasn't only a marriage. It was the discovery that even those she trusted as family would stand by while she bled. Because, let's be honest, this wasn't just about Martell's heartbreak. It was about lifestyle, about comfort. As long as Melody was Mrs. Holt, the perks extended to everyone. A bigger house, a stocked bar, a taste of luxury that silence helped preserve. The driveway and kitchen once boasted a refrigerator side by side, and outside, that Escalade gleamed like a trophy. But the shine faded the moment Melody left. All the benefits, all the glow, it was gone. Suddenly, Marlene was back in a small apartment, stripped of luxuries, facing plain reality with no extras. That is why the divorce cut so deep. Now, sitting beside her son, she does not blame him. Instead, she repeats the story that Martell is just a man in pain, trying to heal and longing for his family. But let us be honest, Martell had plenty of chances. Time and time again, he chose the streets over Melody, ignoring her warnings, her forgiveness, and her offers to start fresh. So, when people ask, why can they not co-parent in peace? Or why are Martell and Melody still battling in court? The answer is simple. Some people do not want peace, they want control. Martell refuses to let go. Letting go would mean admitting he lost something priceless, something he will never get back. And perhaps that loss haunts him more than anything else. Every time Martell steps into the spotlight, he carries himself like the weight of the world is crushing him. But truthfully, most of that weight is his own doing. The courts are not dragging him in for fun, and Melody is not filing papers because she enjoys it. This has become a cycle. Martell creates chaos, then plays surprised when the fallout hits. By now, you would expect him to step back, take accountability, and move on. Instead, he seems to fuel the drama, keeping fires alive just to stay relevant. People are starting to notice this pattern. Martell does not grow, he clings. His social media posts are cryptic, his interviews filled with subtle jabs. And when Melody's name trends, suddenly he floods his page with family values or nostalgic throwbacks, reminders of what used to be, but what he lost by choice. He cannot stomach the reality that she walked away, grew stronger, and never once looked back. It is not about wanting her to return. It is about losing the woman who stood at the center of everything. Arian still clings to Martell as if claiming him gives her status, wearing his name like a medal. Yet Martell's face in their photos tells another story. His smile is faint, forced, nothing like the warmth he once showed with Melody. Pride is absent. Instead, he looks like a man stuck in a life he chose, but never truly wanted. That hollow stare is not love, it is regret dressed in luxury. Arian was never supposed to be the plan. She was only a distraction. Once the thrill faded, Martell was left with the heavy truth of what he lost: his wife, his family, his stability. Now he tries to present himself as a committed co-parent, but the reality says otherwise. Each court date seems to open a new storm. If co-parenting were genuine, Melody would not need protection orders or constant defense against his actions. I am this tug of war. Only one person is trying to preserve peace, and that is Melody. She is raising 4 children who never asked for their lives to be played out in public. Each time they go online or hear whispers at school, their private world is laid bare. Through it all, Melody works as a shield, filtering out the noise, the chaos, and the emotional wreckage so her children do not carry the weight of their parents' conflict. She fights to keep their hearts untouched by the drama. Yet the public nature of it makes her struggle heavier. She does not get to heal quietly or grieve in privacy. Every smile she shows is analyzed, every post scrutinized. People ask why she does not speak more, but perhaps the better question is, why should she? She has already lived it, survived it, and her silence speaks louder than words. She is simply trying to move forward, to live without being yanked back into chaos every time someone needs a storyline. And there's a reason Martell can't stop mentioning her name. When he says Melody, the cameras linger longer, the audience leans closer, and producers perk up because his relevance is tied to her existence. Without her, he's not the misunderstood father or the betrayed husband. He's just a man who gambled everything and lost. No amount of spin, no revised history can change that. But the unsettling part is this: Martell keeps trying. Each attempt to reshape the narrative blurs the line between antagonist and father even more, and the whispers are growing. Producers feel it too. Behind the scenes, adjustments are being made. Carlos King knows this show thrives on disruption, and he isn't afraid to stir the pot. Viewers have noticed the subtle shift whenever Arian Curry's name comes up: softer words, less condemnation, almost a gentle reintroduction. That's not forgiveness. That's strategy. Mess fuels ratings, and slowly, Arian is being repositioned from the shadows of Martell and Melody's broken marriage into the spotlight. The groundwork is obvious. With hints of pity and carefully placed suggestions, producers are testing the waters. Can the audience be conditioned to see her differently? Can chaos be repackaged as sympathy? It's a dangerous balancing act, because Melody's fiercely loyal fan base is always watching, ready to push back at the slightest misstep. But Arian is the wild card, and Martell knows it. He's been waiting for this pivot. He's never liked her being cast as the villain, not because of love, but because her guilt reflects his own. If she's irredeemable, then he's complicit forever. By redeeming her, he redeems himself, or at least softens the blow. Maybe Martell wasn't reckless. Maybe he was just confused. Maybe Arian wasn't the destroyer of a home, just a woman who fell for the wrong man. It's PR gymnastics, plain and simple. And Martell is training like the gold medal is on the line, but the audience isn't naive. They've seen too much. They've heard the break in Melody's voice, watched the exhaustion in her eyes, and witnessed her carry her children through betrayals, headlines, and courtrooms. No amount of narrative bending can erase what people already know: who built the house, who broke it, and who's still standing when the dust settles. She no longer needs to raise her voice. The weight of her silence says more than any argument ever could. Silence has become her strongest weapon. Where once she would match his energy with sharp words and quick replies, now she does nothing at all. That absence of response, that refusal to step into the arena, unsettles Martell far more than insults or accusations ever did. He feeds on confrontation, on back-and-forth exchanges that keep his name in circulation. Without it, without her giving him anything to push against, he stands exposed. The more she ignores, the louder her rejection becomes. It is not just about ignoring text messages or skipping over social media jabs. It is a complete removal of energy. She stopped responding online, on set, in conversations, in interviews. She has cut off every point of entry. He cannot provoke her because she has chosen to be unprovocable. That shift tells the world exactly what she feels about him without her saying a single word. Her quiet existence is now the loudest form of dismissal. For Martell, this silence is a prison. He has built his image around being seen, being acknowledged, being part of the conversation. When that conversation moves on without him or refuses to center him, he loses power. To be invisible to the one person who once shared his home, children, and dreams is to face the deepest kind of rejection. What unsettles him is not what she says, but what she refuses to say. Because silence cannot be twisted, edited, or debated. It simply lingers. Then there is Kimmy Scott, a strategist in her own right. Kimmy understands that silence is one form of survival, but strategy is another. She is not messy, nor is she completely neutral. Her position has always been one of calculation. At one time, she leaned on subtle shade, a raised eyebrow here, a small dig there, often ignoring Arian altogether. But as the show has evolved, so has her approach. She now speaks with diplomacy, balancing carefully between honesty and restraint. For her, it is not about blindly keeping the peace, but about staying positioned. Reality television is a game of survival. Cast members must be likable enough to earn the audience's trust, yet connected enough to the conflict to remain relevant. Too much drama makes a person untrustworthy, too little leaves them invisible. Kimmy manages that line with precision. Her calm delivery, her measured responses, and her ability to both challenge and support at the right times keep her in a safe middle ground. She knows the audience is watching not just the fights, but the way each cast member plays their role. She understands that relevance is currency. With every season, she secures her place not by being the loudest, but by being the most consistent. That steadiness has become her brand. The entire cast is evolving and viewers can feel the shift. What began as one storyline, the breakdown of a marriage, has transformed into the show's very heartbeat. Martell knows this all too well. His personal life, once behind closed doors, has now become the main plot. Every custody hearing, every live stream meltdown, every co-parenting clash finds its way into the cameras. What used to be private arguments are now episodes. What used to be whispered rumors are now confessionals. His personal struggles have been converted into programming. But there is an unspoken truth hovering over it all. When the cameras finally stop rolling, when the crew packs up, and when the storylines move on to fresher drama, what will remain? For Martell, that question is haunting. Because while the show profits from his chaos, the damage in his life does not disappear with the season finale. The picture, when stripped of television edits, is grim. No stable marriage to return to. Tension with the mother of his children that refuses to ease. A public image that is battered and bruised. Opportunities shrinking because his reputation overshadows his potential. And above all, no guarantee of peace, either in his home or within himself. These outcomes were not accidents. They were the results of choices made over time, choices that were filmed, replayed, and shared across social media. The consequences ripple outward, not stopping at courtrooms or custody rulings. They stretch into the years ahead, shaping not only his future, but also the future of his children. That is where the deeper cost lies. In today's world, nothing fades away. The digital footprint never erases. His children will grow up in an online era where every headline, every leaked recording, every Instagram live can be accessed with a single search. One day, they will stumble across receipts, quotes, and clips that paint the story in raw detail. And children, unlike viewers, do not simply watch for entertainment. They will ask questions. They will demand explanations. They will not accept sound bites or deflections. They will want to know why. Why their family fractured. Why their parents fought publicly. Why the love that once built their home was sacrificed to ego, temptation, or bad decisions. That is the real endgame. Not the court hearings. Not the custody wins or losses. Not the temporary spikes in television ratings. The true test is what remains when the noise dies down and the children become old enough to seek their own truths. That will be the day of reckoning Martell cannot avoid. Because in that moment, his audience will not be strangers or critics, it will be his own children, standing face to face with him, holding the weight of every decision he ever made. Meanwhile, Melody moves forward. She carries her calm like armor. Her silence is not weakness, but a shield, a declaration that her healing matters more than his narrative. While he wrestles with consequences, she builds. She shows her children, her audience, and herself that peace can be chosen, that growth can be quiet yet powerful. Her strength is no longer measured by how loudly she argues, but by how firmly she refuses to be dragged back into chaos, and in that quiet strength lies the sharpest lesson of all. Sometimes the loudest victory is the choice to say nothing, to move forward, and to let silence speak the truth.